Okay, so today we're going to be venturing into some pretty interesting territory, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at what happens to your body after you've reached enlightenment.
Hmm.
We're going to be exploring using a transcript called The Scariest Thing About Your Body After Enlightenment.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, this sounds a bit odd, right? Usually enlightenment's all about spiritual bliss,
Right.
but this source suggests there might be some physical side effects that you don't expect.
Yeah, that's really interesting, to think about how this spiritual transformation could manifest physically.
Right.
And the source actually claims that enlightenment can sometimes lead to some pretty bizarre symptoms like sudden illnesses, unexplained pains, or even phenomena that doctors can't figure out.
Yeah, they describe it almost like the body is staging some sort of rebellion against this new enlightened state.
Right.
But like, why would that even happen?
Well, it might not be a rebellion in the way we normally think of it,
Okay.
more like an energetic overload. So enlightenment is about heightened awareness.
Right.
And that means becoming much more sensitive to the energies around you.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like when you walk into a room and you just feel a weird vibe.
Yeah.
The source suggests that after enlightenment, you become sensitive to those energies in a totally new way.
Wow.
Yeah. So everything from like other people's moods to the earth's energy,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like flowing through you more intensely, and it's a lot to handle.
That makes sense. The source compares it to shining a super bright light into an old, dusty room.
Right.
And suddenly you see like every little speck of dust.
Every cobweb.
Every cobweb. Exactly.
Right.
It's like your body wasn't really ready for that level of illumination.
Exactly. Before enlightenment, we might have a filter, that
yeah.
shields us from these subtle energies. But after that's gone, you're experiencing the full spectrum, good and bad. So imagine feeling every little energy shift.
That's gotta be.
All the time.
Yeah. Intense.
Have you ever experienced anything like that, even on a smaller scale? Maybe after like a deep meditation or like a powerful experience in nature.
Actually, yeah. Now that you mention it, I have. There have been times where I felt like my awareness expanded.
Right.
And it was amazing, but also kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the source also points out that this heightened sensitivity isn't just about external energy, right?
Right.
It's like you become more aware of your own physical sensations, too.
Exactly. Those everyday aches and pains, the tingles.
Right.
After enlightenment, the sources, they can feel amplified. Yeah.
And they even describe this feeling of being trapped in the body after enlightenment.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
the soul is vast and limitless, but the body is holding it back.
Yeah.
There's this really vivid passage where the author describes feeling like their skin was too tight,
Wow.
like their bones couldn't contain all of their energy.
It's important to remember the source isn't saying people want to like actually leave their bodies behind.
Okay.
It's more about the frustration of the contrast. You've experienced this expanded consciousness.
Right.
This feeling of being interconnected.
Yeah.
And then you're brought back to the physical realm with its limitations. And that can create this longing, for that boundless state.
Yeah, and that can be scary.
Right.
But the source insists this fear isn't weakness.
Okay.
It's a doorway to something more.
It is a crucial point.
Yeah.
It's easy to want to retreat back to that spiritual realm and avoid integrating these experiences into everyday life.
Yeah.
But, true enlightenment, according to the source, is about wholeness.
Okay.
It's about bringing that awareness into our physical existence.
Right into our everyday world.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea of the body as like a portal, not a prison, comes in.
A portal.
The body is how we experience life, relationships, emotions.
It's the via.
Everything that makes the spiritual journey meaningful.
Absolutely. The body's not something to be transcended,
Right.
but rather the instrument through which we express, our awakened consciousness.
I like that.
So it's through our physical senses that we interact with the world, connect with others, create something new.
So it's not about escaping the body. It's about working with it.
Exactly.
But how do we do that when it feels like our body is rebelling?
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to do with all these intense physical sensations?
That's a great question. And the source actually offers some tools to navigate this wild ride of post-enlightenment embodiment.
Yeah.
And it all starts with grounding.
Okay.
Reconnecting with the physical world to kind of anchor that expanded energy.
Grounding, so like walking barefoot on the grass.
Exactly. Or focusing on your breath, engaging your senses through gardening or cooking.
Yeah.
These activities help to bring your awareness back to the present moment
Right.
and reconnect you with your physical body.
I see.
The source also mentions like yoga or tai chi as powerful grounding techniques,
Yeah.
but we can dive into those later.
Okay.
First, there's another key piece:
Okay, what's that?
self-compassion. It's easy to get frustrated, when it seems like your body's lagging behind your soul's evolution.
Yeah.
Like, come on, body, catch up.
Yeah.
But it's doing its best.
So be gentle with ourselves.
Exactly.
Acknowledge this is a process.
Yeah. Nourish your body. Give it rest. Listen to its signals.
Okay.
Don't punish it for having a human experience.
Right.
And speaking of listening,
Yeah.
that's the third piece of advice from the source.
Listening to our bodies. What do you mean by that?
Well, after enlightenment, your body becomes this incredibly sensitive instrument,
Okay.
and it's constantly sending you messages.
Hmm.
So instead of seeing those physical reactions as problems,
Okay.
we can start to see them as our body trying to communicate with us.
Interesting.
So like imagine you have a stiff neck.
Yeah.
Instead of just like popping a painkiller,
Right.
you might pause and ask yourself, what else is going on?
Okay.
Could this tension be related to a stressful situation I'm holding on to?
So it's about looking beyond the physical symptom
Yeah.
and exploring the root cause.
Exactly. It's about paying attention and asking, what is my body trying to tell me?
Interesting.
And sometimes the answers can be pretty revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, how often we try to like transcend the body in spiritual circles,
Right.
to escape its limitations.
Yeah.
But what if enlightenment, as this source suggests, is not about leaving the body, but about bringing the body with you?
That is a profound shift in perspective.
Right.
Instead of viewing it as an obstacle,
Yeah.
it's like we're being invited to see it as a partner
Exactly.
in our growth.
And what's even more intriguing is this idea that those limitations,
Yeah.
aging, decay, our eventual physical end,
Right.
those are actually what make our spiritual journey meaningful.
Wait, hold on. Are you suggesting our mortality is a good thing?
It might sound radical,
Yeah.
but think about it. If we were eternal, would we even seek enlightenment?
That's a good point.
It's the body's impermanence
Uh.
that compels us to search for something more.
Yeah, something beyond the physical.
Right.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's like those limitations
Yeah.
act as a catalyst, pushing us toward the infinite.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the source makes another point, too.
Okay.
It's through the body that we experience contrast,
Yes,
which is, like, essential for growth.
absolutely. We wouldn't appreciate light without darkness.
Right.
Joy wouldn't feel as profound without sorrow.
Yeah. So the body becomes the instrument
Yes.
through which we experience the full spectrum
The whole range.
of human experiences.
Exactly.
And those lead us to a deeper understanding
Yeah.
of ourselves and the universe.
Precisely. And this brings us back to the idea of the body as a teacher.
Okay.
It's not just a mirror reflecting back to us our issues.
Mhm.
It's also a guide nudging us toward integration.
I'm starting to really appreciate this concept,
Yeah.
but I got to admit, it still feels a bit abstract.
Yeah.
Can you give me some concrete examples of how we can listen to our body's wisdom?
Oh, absolutely. So let's say you're dealing with chronic back pain.
Okay.
Instead of reaching for medication,
Yeah.
you might ask yourself,
Yep.
what emotions am I holding onto in my back?
Mm.
Is there a burden I need to release?
So looking beyond the physical
Exactly.
and considering the emotional or spiritual root cause.
Exactly. Or imagine you feel drained
Yeah.
after spending time with a certain person,
Okay.
right? Instead of labeling them as toxic,
Right?
you could explore the energy dynamic.
Okay.
Ask yourself, is this person mirroring back to me something I need to heal?
That's a really interesting way to approach relationships.
Right.
Instead of blaming others,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity for reflection.
For growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The body is constantly giving us feedback.
Yeah.
It's like we need to learn its language.
That's a subtle language.
Yeah, the more we pay attention,
Right.
the more we can harmonize everything.
The physical, emotional, and spiritual.
We talked about grounding, self-compassion, listening to the body.
Right.
Are there any other tools the source suggests?
Well, the source doesn't give a complete list,
Okay.
but it emphasizes the importance of acceptance.
Okay.
Acceptance of the body's limitations.
Yeah.
Acceptance of our duality, infinite beings in finite forms.
Yeah.
Acceptance of the messiness of being human.
That resonates with me.
Yeah.
The more we resist,
Right.
the more we suffer.
Exactly.
But when we embrace it all,
Yeah.
we open ourselves up to
Peace,
to freedom.
And this acceptance isn't about resignation.
Right.
It's about recognizing the body is sacred.
I like that.
It's a vessel for the soul, honoring the fact that we're here for a reason.
This whole conversation has really shifted my perspective.
Has it?
Yeah, I used to see my body as like an inconvenience,
I understand that.
but now I see it as part of my spiritual journey.
That's beautiful.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. There will be times when you feel aligned, and other times when you feel like you're stumbling around,
Right.
bumping into things.
That's actually reassuring.
Is it?
Yeah. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have it all figured out.
Exactly.
The important thing is to keep listening, keep learning,
Keep moving forward.
keep moving towards integration.
The source ends on a powerful note,
Okay.
saying the most frightening aspect of the body after enlightenment isn't the fear itself,
Okay.
but what lies on the other side.
Love that.
Yeah. So if we can move through the fear,
Right.
if we can embrace the body, then we can unlock a whole new level
Awareness.
of experience.
That's a journey worth taking.
I think so.
Bring on the fear.
Yeah.
Bring on the discomfort.
The messy,
The beautiful,
unpredictable.
the unpredictable journey.
Yeah. But speaking of unpredictable,
Okay.
the source hints at one final radical idea. What if those scary physical sensations are actually a good sign?
Let's explore that. All right. So we're back and ready to tackle this idea that those strange, even scary physical experiences
Right.
after enlightenment could actually be a good sign.
It's a fascinating concept.
It is?
Instead of fearing these bodily reactions,
Yeah.
the source suggests we might see them as guideposts,
Oh,
maybe even celebrations
okay.
of our spiritual progress.
Help me understand this. How could like illness or pain
Yeah.
be seen as positive?
Okay, well, think of it this way. You're expanding your consciousness, right?
Okay.
You're tapping into these higher frequencies of energy,
Right.
and your body is working hard
Yeah.
to keep pace. It's like upgrading your computer's operating system to something super powerful.
Right.
There might be glitches, some shutdowns as everything recalibrates.
It's just not that something's wrong.
Right.
It's more like things are working overtime
Exactly.
to adjust to this new reality.
Yeah. And the source says these glitches,
Yeah.
they're often most intense when we're on the verge of a breakthrough. It's like the darkness before the dawn.
Right.
So these challenging physical symptoms
Yeah.
might mean you're about to level up spiritually.
Wow, that is mind-blowing.
Right.
Instead of thinking, oh no, my body's falling apart,
Yeah.
it's more like, bring it on.
Yeah.
This means I'm on the right track.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our perspective.
Right.
Seeing these experiences not as setbacks,
Yeah.
but as indicators that we're pushing the boundaries
I like
of
that.
consciousness.
It's so empowering to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Instead of being afraid of them,
Right.
we can welcome them as part of the process.
And the source suggests the more we resist those sensations,
Okay.
the more we prolong the discomfort. But when we surrender to them,
Yeah.
when we lean into the transformation,
Right.
we allow the energy to flow more freely.
Okay.
And that can actually lead to healing.
So it's not about ignoring the discomfort. It's about changing how we relate to it.
Exactly.
Instead of fighting against it,
Yeah.
we use it as fuel for growth.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
This reminds me of something the source mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Enlightenment isn't about escaping the body.
Right.
It's about embracing it fully.
Yeah, limitations and all.
Limitations and all.
It's like the body becomes the training ground.
Yeah.
The place where we forge our spiritual resilience.
The crucible.
We don't become enlightened despite the body,
Right.
but rather through it.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to that key concept of integration.
Yeah.
Enlightenment isn't just about expanding our consciousness.
Right.
It's about weaving that awareness into our lives.
Into our everyday lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not about floating off,
Yeah.
It's about bringing heaven down to earth.
Right. I like that.
And the body,
Yeah.
with all its complexities,
Mhm.
becomes the bridge.
Between those two worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's how we express our soul's purpose, how we give form to our insights.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
It has been.
We went from fear and resistance
Yeah.
to acceptance and empowerment.
All thanks to this one source.
All thanks to this source.
It's amazing how a shift in perspective
Yeah.
can change everything.
Completely transform our experience.
And that's the beauty of this journey.
Right.
There's always more to discover.
Always deeper levels of understanding.
Always.
So what's the one key takeaway
Okay.
for our listener today?
I would say pay attention to your body's wisdom.
Okay.
Don't dismiss those strange sensations.
Right.
The aches and pains.
The discomfort.
The discomfort, they might be signs you're on the right path,
Mm-hmm.
pushing the boundaries,
Yeah.
moving towards a more integrated way of being.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
And maybe a little scary,
maybe a little.
but in a good way.
In a good way.
It makes me wonder what other adventures await
Yeah.
as we explore this connection
This amazing connection.
between body and spirit. Thanks for joining us, everyone.